Do you feel that you need new friends? Do you feel that people around you are potentially different from you, holding you back? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. As you guys requested over on my Instagram, I put a poll up the other week. What should we talk about? And this was one of the topics I listed, and this was the most voted. When is the best time to change your friends? Should we even change our friends? Do we need to change our friends? Why should we change our friends? We're going to be discussing that today, and all the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is going to be applicable to relationships, work environments, etc. So, welcome back to the Tom Gilbert Show, people. It's great to have you all back. Quick tangent. For those of you who don't follow me on other forms of social media, I am running a 8-week Sexy for Santa challenge. This is my next installment of my fitness challenges starting on October 30th. If you guys want a bit more information on that and how you can get involved and win some prizes for Christmas and the new year and get in shape for Christmas, go check the link in the description, whether you're on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get into the Tom Gilbert Show. So, friends. Why was this a topic on my list? This idea of changing friends, changing environments, changing your social circle, your work environment, I think is an important thing that everyone should think about and consider and talk about. I'm not someone who, this is not a podcast to tell you to change your friendship groups or your work groups or whatever it is. This is something you should kind of just be conscious of. Okay, because there may come times where you have to make a decision, whether it's for the, it's usually going to be for the better of yourself, or maybe for the better of, your close circle, your close family, whether you're a parent, you've got kids or something like that, or you've got a partner, but it's usually going to be in your best interest to kind of do these things, whether it's for you mentally, physically, for you work-wise, for your own personal growth. I think it's always important to, look at yourself, and then how everything else that branches off around that, and obviously friends and work and relationships and stuff like that are going to play key factors in all of our lives. So we kind of have to be wary of how these things can affect us. How certain friendship groups, how certain work environments, certain hobby environments we may have that can affect us. And so this topic was inspired by the fact that I've personally have felt I've been in certain situations where I've had to take a step for myself, and I've spoke to so many other people who have had to really take a step out of their, change work environment, change friendship environment, leave a relationship, leave a marriage, all because it was stopping them from getting them to where they want to be. So like I said, all the stuff that we're going to talk about today we'll base it around friends, but it's applicable to work, relationships, any kind of environment that you can kind of be in for a prolonged period of time and can obviously have an effect on you, if that makes sense. So yeah, obviously our earlier in all of our lives, our earlier kind of introduction to kind of social groups is going to be in school. It obviously has a massive effect on us, and we kind of become like, in the earlier days, you're institutionalized with school. Obviously, you go through the whole schooling system, especially here in the UK. You kind of have a select cohort of friends, and you might go through primary school, secondary school, college, and uni with them. A lot of you kind of staying together, and obviously outside of that is your family, parents, brothers and sisters, cousins, and stuff like that. Again, you don't get to choose them. They're just the people that are around you. So, there's already at the start of life, people that we don't get to choose, and there's people that we kind of get to choose. You get to obviously choose your schools at friends, your friends at school, sorry, but you can only, it's only from like a small barrel of people. It can be quite easy to find people that you're obviously similar to, but for some people it's not. For some people it can be very difficult. So obviously this podcast might be very interesting for those people, if any of you are listening, if any of you are in that situation. Because you might find yourself in surrounded with certain people that you just don't vibe with. You're just not on the same frequency as, whether it's mentally, physically, or both. And you may feel like, I need to be somewhere else. This is not, useful for my own personal growth. This is not helping me get to where I want to be. This is not giving me any fulfillment. I don't want to support these people. They don't want to support me. Because what the idea of a relationship within, whether it's person to person or a person to an environment, it should be like in my opinion, a two-way thing. Like, I think it should be a two-way thing in a relationship that's going to be supporting. An environment should support you, and you should support that environment. And a healthy friendship and relationship should support you, and you should support it. It shouldn't be as soon as it starts becoming one way. That's where it's like, if you've got this, say, a partner, okay, I can think of exes. If you've got an ex or a current partner who that you give a lot to, mentally and physically, and let's say you give 100%, you only get 50% back. That isn't a two-way thing. You are giving double. You are, your needs and that aren't being met. That is a relationship that's not going to help you grow, because it's all take, and you're not getting what you need or deserve back. Okay, obviously we shouldn't give to get, but a sustainable relationship has those qualities. Okay, it doesn't have to be eye for an eye, given or taken, but there's the same understanding of support and care going in both ways. Okay, like blood flowing around the body. If you get what I mean. If we only had I'll end up going a tangent with that one. But I'm sure you can get what I mean. And the same with an environment or a workspace. If you're in a working environment that is only you giving and you're not getting much from it, whether you're underpaid, undervalued, stuff like that, overworked, again, that's not a sustainable relationship with that environment. So you're looking at the people around you, you're looking at the environments that you're in, and there's so many people who kind of get stuck in these groups, get stuck in these places, then they just halt their lives in a sense, or because they may be afraid to step away from a relationship because they're afraid of hurting themselves or hurting someone else, or will they be able to find a relationship somewhere else? Stepping away from work, will they be able to get another job? Will they be able to survive a bit without money? Okay, can they take a pay cut? Are they brave enough to break away from those relationships and start something new? These are all the reasons why people don't do these things. Okay, they'll get stuck and they'll get comfortable. And I get it. It's a very, very, very hard decision to make, especially in work if you're relying on money or friendships if you don't want to hurt people. But that is life at the end of the day. That's what's going to happen. So we kind of, you gotta treat it like ripping off a band-aid at the end of the day. Like, no one wants to stay in a relationship that's they're only giving and not getting anything from, because they're not going to get any happiness from that. They're just going to get drained and drained and drained. I'm sure we've all been in those situations, or you can kind of think of friends or family that you've seen been in those situations. I can think of so many friends that have been in that situation where they've been the person in the relationship that's been giving and been caring, okay? And you just see them just become drained because all they're doing is giving to this person, and they're not getting anything back. And you're there like shaking your friend like, fucking, you need to get out of this. You need to leave that, like what you're doing. And it's just like, it's a hard decision for them to make. And I've been there before, on both ends. I have been the giver, and I have unfortunately been the taker. I've learned, okay, guys, but we'll do more talking about that topic in a later podcast. But yeah, it's not a vibe. It's not a vibe on either ends, So you need to kind of understand whether it's a healthy relationship or not, so when the right time is to step away. Because nothing sucks more than being in a friendship group where you're giving so much to a friendship group and you just don't feel like there's any kind of support there back for you. Like, you support everyone there and you just don't feel like you get it back, because like I said, they may not be on the same frequency as you. These may be friends from school, college, university, or a friendship circle you've just found yourself falling into, and you end up just staying there and not really having friends anywhere else, and you're all give because you're a great person, but this friendship group's not for you, okay? And you can't blame them, in a sense. You shouldn't waste your energy blaming them, even though you might feel like you want to. You got to kind of take your own initiative and be like, right, these people don't vibe on my frequency. Like the person you're in a relationship with. Relationships in the past, I've been there where the person is just not on the same page as me. Completely different book. I'm a fucking book and they're a stone. I don't know. It's just something completely different. And you just, every level is just different. And you can't blame them for that. They're in a different area of their life, thinking about different things, have different needs, and it's just trying to, get fucking positive and positive to react. It's just going to be constant repelling. So it's all about just understanding that there's going to be these differences in relationships, accepting that. For some people, it might be really, really, really far on into a relationship that you realize it, and that could be the painful bit. But it's, whether it's a friendship or a boyfriend, girlfriend, something like that, or husband and wife, and you're there like, we ain't on the same page. And yes, you can try and communicate it and fix it, of course, especially if you've kind of sunk a lot of cost into this kind of relationship, a lot of time and effort. Sometimes it's not as easy just to throw things away. But sometimes it does get to a point where it's like, you gotta pack up and go. You have to go, because it's just not going to be good for you. It's just going to pull you down. It's going to stop you doing the things you want to do. Okay, it's going to take your time, take your energy. For some people, take their money, depending on what the relationship is like. And you just have to understand that. You have to understand that if you want to keep your best, your self-interests top priority, your physical health, your mental health, sometimes it's time to go. It's time to go, as hard as it can be. We've all probably come across those people in our lives that, are kind of fleeting visitors, because you very quickly realize they're not on your team. They're very different. They could be jealous individuals, people that don't like seeing what you're achieving, what you're able to do. It might be someone that, think, you can have a friend that's jealous of you being attractive, you being in good shape, you having a good job, you having a good lifestyle and family, and they're kind of, the crabs at the bottom of the barrel pulling you down. Oh, it must be nice for you to have this. Can't believe you're doing that. And you get those friends or those people in your lives that, you can't even call them friends, those people in your lives that kind of just judge what you do, like it's their life. And those people, again, they're not on your level. They need other people that they vibe with. They need people on their level so they can communicate properly. Because have you ever realized how much easier it is to talk to people that are on your level? Fucking so much easier. My girlfriend now is fucking the easiest person to speak to for me ever. She just is. Like, I find her so easy to talk to. We get on pretty much about 99% of things, Actually, don't really know things we don't get on about, okay? But she just does. Past relationships haven't had that same level of connection, okay? So guess what? The relationship didn't last, okay? It was a lot harder. It took a lot more work to just stay in the room, okay? Whereas now, because we're on the same level, so many different areas, it's easy. It's easy. And, I've had friendships before where, I've been gradually going on one trajectory and they've been going on another. No one's fault. But, like, the friendships have kind of had to stop because we're just different levels. We've got different things going on, different priorities, different likes, different dislikes. We agree on, disagree on different things. So it does come to a point you can be with someone and you can grow apart. You can grow back together. I've seen that happen, but just understand that there will be periods where you can grow away from other people. Friends from school is a good example, because as you get to that point where you're kind of making those choices to go off through life, and you get friends who want to go one way, you want to go another way, but then you kind of have these thoughts and feelings about keeping this friendship, it can very quickly change. One that I can really think about is friends that I've had who have been like really into, like, from the age of 18, like drink and drugs. And I've been there. I've been there with drink and drugs, and I've been in and out of it, not so much in recent years, but I've been there, and I can see how you can very quickly get, kind of caught up in those groups and those environments. But as we all know, it's not very useful for our own growth. And obviously, I'm someone who has a lot of goals for their personal growth, and being around those kind of social groups is not useful for me. It's not going to help me get to where I want to be. So then I know that I have to take those steps away to, from those friendships, from those relationships, and do my own thing. Now, could get to a point where we come full circle and I meet up with those people again because they've grown and done their own thing, and we kind of meet on a time where we're at a better trajectory, the same trajectory. But for now, that's not the case. You know, I haven't got many friends like that, but I can think of a few people where they changed. I changed and they changed. They're not blaming anyone for like friendships. We all know people like this. I'm just the one saying it. But you know, I've changed and they changed and just went like this. You know, shouldn't have to force it to stay. Same with relationships. You know, had one of my earlier relationships, very early age, through an age where you know, late teens, where you kind of change a lot. You know, I was going one way, they were going another way. You naturally drift apart. The relationship naturally falls apart because you're changing as individuals. Unless you can find friendships that are on like the same path as you, or pretty much the same path as you, you know, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. Like I said, the only way to really do that is you're having sacrifices to keep yourself on the same track. But people don't really want that. People want to kind of, you know, ideally, we don't really want to make too many sacrifices. We want to kind of like, right, I have my goals, they have their goals, and we can keep on the same path. So the ideal would be find people who are on that same frequency, who you can just vibe with, move with, communicate with, be on the same path with, be on the same goals with. You know, you want to be around people who are into physical fitness and health, find some friends in the gym environment, some classes and stuff like that. Because if your current friends aren't into that, if your current friends are into drinking and partying and going out, bottomless brunch, ooh yeah, but you want to kind of bet yourself through health and fitness and lose weight, find a new environment to be in. Put yourself in that gym environment, classes, okay, boot camps. You make some friends there, you know. If you want to be around people who are into business and making money, go to networking events, networking groups, you know, work centers, you know, like remote offices. You'll be able to meet people there, you know, see if there's any kind of Facebook groups or stuff you can go into. You know, if you're looking to kind of find people who are on your wavelength, we've got social media. You know, all I have to do, pull up my laptop here. Actually, you can't even see that on YouTube. Pull up my laptop and you can go on social media and I could find more like-minded people like that. Yes, it obviously takes time to build those relationships, but because we have so many similarities straight away, it's a hell of a lot easier. Okay? There shouldn't be any reason, like if I meet people who are interested in the same things that I am, there shouldn't be any issues. It should be a lot easier. So, and what do you reckon that environment would do for me? Well, if I'm around people who are trying to make their health and fitness better, trying to make their business better, you know, trying to make themselves mentally stronger, you know, that's going to do that for me. But if I'm around people who want to drink all the time, want to do drugs, you know, not against that. I've had phases of that in my life, but it's not really going to help with the goals I have now. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. You know, you might be at different seasons of your life. If you know, I've got friends who do a lot of traveling, and they've completely changed their friendship groups up, and they're around a lot of these people who like traveling. You know, travelers meet travelers. You meet people in like a hostel and you're like, oh, I love traveling too. And guess what? These people end up traveling the world with one another because they're like-minded. That's it. Why do you think people make so many friends in the gym? Because people who go to the gym usually like other people who go to the gym. You know, at my jiu-jitsu club, we all really get on because we all like jiu-jitsu and we're all into kind of health and fitness. Some of us has business and some of us have other topics we like talking about. Okay, and I gel with those people even more because we've even got more interests. Okay, so it's so much easier to get on with people and grow with people that are on your same wavelength. So whether it's people you're in a relationship with, friends, work, etc., you know, have a think. Are they on that same wavelength as you? If not, then to answer the question of this video, maybe it's time to change that friendship group, that relationship or environment, and find some people or an environment that's more on your wavelength so it can help you get to where you want to be. Okay, it's an interesting topic. A lot of this is opinion based. Okay, but I think it's something we should all consider and all think about, because I know so many people who have got stuck in certain environments, in certain relationships, in certain friendship groups, all because they're just afraid of making a change, taking a step, putting themselves first. You know, they're afraid of potentially being selfish. It's not selfish. Okay, you're doing what you want to do, and you shouldn't have the thoughts and feelings of other people stop you from doing that. Okay, you know, as long as you're not hurting yourself or other people, you know, like physically, you know, you should be all good. You should be all good. Yes, I know there can be complications when if you're married, you got kids, etc. I'm talking from my experience. I'm 26. I ain't got that. Okay, if you have got that, share your experiences in the comment. But I do think you should look for people who are on your wavelength. You should look for work environments that's kind of in line with where you want to be, your morals, your principles, your beliefs. Because there's nothing worse than just being stuck around people that you just don't get on with, you don't like, that drag you down. Again, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's actually pretty your fault for putting yourself in that environment. You're in control of where you are 9 times out of 10. So think about your environment. Think about the people that you're around, the people you share your time with, you share your energy with, because that's what we have is our time and our energy. So be selective with where you put it, people. Okay, I'd love to know your thoughts on this down below, thoughts on this topic, because I think it's an interesting one. And thank you so much for listening for another episode of the Tom Gilbert Show, people. Peace and love. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, drop a comment. If you're on Spotify, give us a review, give us a rating, drop that 5-star because it helps more people find this podcast. I'd really much appreciate it. And share it. Share an episode. Share a short. Tag a friend. Okay? And I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.